mostly
Wait.
good, but sometimes we'll.
Oh, Arman, sorry. Uh, it didn't start, but now it started. But now it started. So,
Okay,
Arman, you
hello
should repeat it.
everyone.
Uh,
Yeah, hello
it
everyone.
didn't
Today
start,
we're
but
going
now it started.
to watch,
But now it's
and I'll be commentating for you the team battle on Lichess. Um, my name is Arman Geivondian. I'm FIDE master from Russia. My technical supporter for the stream is Kirill.
Yes, my name is Kirill Zenin, and I'm the technical support on the stream and a channel manager.
Yeah, that's true. So today we're going to watch like the top games. We'll be following the leading teams mostly, but sometimes we'll be choosing something if we'll see some interesting positions or something like that.
So do you see my screen in Discord? Like, can I begin?
Yeah, let's go.
Like, let's open the top one. And
Yeah. So what do we see here? Black have double pawns on the e file, and yeah, black has an extra pawn here. So the d6 pawn is a weakness, but weak pawn is better than no pawn. So I think black has a comfortable advantage, and it proves the rating advantage of almost 300 points. So black just need to consolidate, solve some solve some problems in the next like 5 to 10 moves, and then we'll just watch a realization of the advantage. Yeah, queen a2 attacking the e6 pawn, so black surely has some problems at this moment. Rook f6 seems the only move here. Should be fine, because knight g5 will be met by knight f8. The pawn will be comfortably defended. We'll see it now. Yeah. But now knight on d7 is gone and the b6 square is weakened. Yeah, so white can play knight b6. Yeah, then knight will be going b2 c4. Maybe it will stay for some moves. Maybe white can decide to double the rooks on d file. But this seems too slow to me. Yeah, knight c4. So now the bishop b6 is a threat. Has to be Black has to defend from this, and rook d7 is not the case because of knight b6 at least, and will be a repetition. So black has to like seriously think now. Maybe rook c7 was not the accurate move. Yeah, so black decided to give the pawn back just to solve some problems. I think it's a good decision if you're playing a blitz game. I think in serious game, like with more time, black will maybe try to make something more complicated. But yeah, now I think position is slightly equal because black has weaknesses on d6 and e6. Also, dynamical advantage is on the white side for sure. But black has a bishop against the knight, and in long term, it's maybe not a serious, but well, quite an advantage. So yeah, queen c8, a good move. Well, it looks good at least. So black defend the e6 pawn one more time, also double on c file. b5 is a threat, but I'm now thinking that black could play b5 in the previous move and win the knight. Am I not right about this? I don't see why b5 was not the move.
on the previous, like,
Yeah, before queen c8. So why didn't black just go for no one move before? No, yeah, b5 here.
it's
Why not? I don't see why this wasn't the winning move. Where there were something like e5 from white, but I don't think that would be enough. So now b5 is not winning any material, but yeah, black sacrificed the d6 pawn, but if white would go for this pawn, it will be met by rook c2 after the exchange, and the f2 pawn will be attacked, and pieces for black would be too active. So now knight goes to e3. Rook c1, I think, is once again a move that's made only because it's a blitz game. Because I think there is no world in which this move is the best. This is just like simplifying the play. Because black only have 25 seconds now, they have to play more carefully. So h6, once again, this move, knight f3. Let's exchange now, maybe, yeah, queen goes to c6. So that's quite passive and careful. But it's met by e5. And after the exchange, I think white may even have a slight advantage because of the weakness of e6 pawn. Not only this pawn is isolated, but also it's placed on the... Oh, that's a blunder. So black just blundered the knight, and now there is no... Oh no, what am I saying? That was an exchange. Sorry. It was just too fast. So black now have extra pawn somehow. Maybe queen b1 check, just to add some time. No. Black could also play bishop g5. No, it's not the case. Queen e5 defending the f7 rook, an option in order to give the opportunity for black squared bishop to go away. Queen e3, and now it will be met by bishop g5. Yeah. But maybe it was not a good move, because after this exchange, black play bishop c1, that's met by knight c5, yeah. And all the pawns are exchanged. Oh, it was quite funny. So black blundered the bishop, and white automatically played knight c7. But it's a draw now, and it would be a draw anyway, so
yeah. I agreed to a draw.
Player decided not to waste some time because it's an arena tournament.
By the way, it's quite curious that before the stream it were 14 viewers, and now it only barely 11. And at the beginning it was like seven of them. Okay, so which game? Oh, let's choose this one. It just started.
Oh, that's a berserk. Well, this guy on the black side is always berserking every game. That's a viable strategy in arena tournaments, because you get to play more games, and even if you lose, it's not like hitting you hard, because once again you play more games and you can gain more points. The only problem is that you are losing the streak every time, and
yeah, but we saw last time there was a guy with no single loss of the streak. I mean, he lost, but when he didn't play, and then he began a new streak.
And yeah, there are two strategies for these tournaments, and every time it's interesting which one will end up winning, actually.
By the way,
so after all these exchanges, black have a very comfortable advantage. So now you see black can just play f5, f4, exchange everything, and because of the space advantage that white has in this position, his position is actually worse, because in the endgame the space advantage is not usually for the side that has it, because you see all the pawns are just now like crumbling, and now it's only the question if white is able to draw this game.
VP Setter, isn't he from the MIP chess club?
Yeah, he is. Yes.
What a familiar name.
I think it's Bulat Murtazin's account, no?
What?
It's Bulat Murtazin's account, I think.
I don't know his name. I just remember he was on all of our streams.
Yeah, he is a very strong player actually. So what White is doing here is just trying to play around the fact that if White take the b7 pawn, this will be very good, and Black will have to spend some time, wait some time stopping the b6 pawn. Now, Black understands that he can just give up all the pawns on the king side, and it doesn't matter because Black pawns are much faster. So rook h8 is just hoping for d3 and rook d8 check, but it's not the case. Black carefully plays c4. And yeah, 2 pawns already can win this game even without rook. King c5, and it's just a matter of time. c2 is not a mistake because yeah, there is rook c6. And 30 seconds is more than enough to win this kind of position. So yeah, White
he
is...
resigned.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe.
Oh,
Okay, I
VP
give
setter
you.
is actually leading the way now.
Who?
VP setter is actually leading the way now.
Ah,
With
yeah,
1
yeah, I see. Not anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's only at the beginning of the tournament, so we'll have this kind of changing of leader,
Yeah.
like
I'll
every
let you
minute.
choose the next game to watch.
Yeah, let's watch just the first one.
First, oh yeah, the beginning. Command Dart.
Oh, Berserk here.
Oh wait, it is the leader now.
Yeah. Some weird opening. Yeah, bishop g5, now castling, I think, with a check. Yeah, White has a dynamical advantage here. And yeah, maybe knight b5 was already win. Knight b5. Knight b5 is, I think, just reacting Black. I don't see how Black is going to defend from this. But yeah, White thinks otherwise, not having too much time to properly think, and yeah, plays g3. I think White's position is still quite comfortable, but now, yeah, Black give up the pawn. Black is just trying to play for time, I think, and it's not a good strategy, really, because you know, 1 minute and a half is more than enough to play a decent game. If you make only one blunder, a strong player will comfortably win the game with minus 30. Yeah, so now this is an end game, and you see Black is going for the like positional control. So King is staying on f4, and maybe that was a mistake for White, because now it's not. It doesn't look like White is playing for the win. So maybe exchanging the rooks was too fast of a decision, because now you see, I can understand this, because if you have an extra material, you usually want to exchange pieces, but you see, this time, this was not a good idea. Now, White is going even have some problems, because yeah, the pawn will be lost. Bishop f3 was not a good move. White had to play e5 in order to win the control of the e3 square. And now Black will just... Oh, this may be still enough. Because if now Black plays bishop takes e4, White will take the opposition. So yeah, a4 is a smart move here. e5. Bishop takes g2 is winning, I think. Yeah, just king takes e5 and Black's king is faster. Yeah, and White understands this, but it's too late. So that's what happens sometimes if you play with the Berserk. King g7 was not an accurate move. White had to play king g5, and maybe it would be a draw, but now White lose. Yeah, because of queen a1 check.
Yeah, I see.
That's just time trouble.
Let's go to another one.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, we are back to 15 viewers.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Yeah, let's go.
Which one?
Let's just always take the first one.
Okay, always the first one. Our strategy for this stream.
Oh, this is a very interesting position. It was until black lost the pawn on e5, yeah. Now 2 pawns on b5 and c6 are just too strong, I think, and white's going to win. White also has extra minutes of time. White even goes for some tactical approaches. I would just play knight f3 if I was white. I don't think there is a reason to risk this, because now black has a d4 move at their disposal, and white will have to... Or maybe white is preparing knight c4. Knight c4 could be met by bishop takes h2 check, and I'm not sure if this was a good decision, but black didn't go for the d4 move, and now bishop on d4 is just very strong piece. You see the two bishops on d4 and d3 are so much better than black bishops on d6 and c8 that I think only this fact alone can be decisive. For example, if white managed to play b6, I just don't see the way how black are going to stop this. Well, maybe not right now, because b6 would be met by bishop takes e5, and c7 there is some tactics. I'm not sure if white really need to risk once again. So a4 is a good move, I think, because we just defend our advantage and we just wait for the perfect opportunity to easily win, like playing like rook a b1, then b6, c7. I don't see the way how black can not lose this. So maybe let's just watch some other game.
Okay.
It's just too obvious at this point.
Sure.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Skynet against Kingslayer.
So this position is relatively equal, let's say. But white have control of the center, can play e4. I would play h3 if I'm white. Or maybe no, I would play e4, I think, and try to control the center. The problem for black here is that black can't really play c5, because after all these exchanges, white will maybe have some tactical way to create very serious problems for black, because dynamically white's pieces are much better, and so black can't afford to open the position. d5 is positionally too weak for black, and e5 just like unreal. So white has control of the center, and black can't really do anything about this, and that's what happens when you give up the control of the center. You have to like counterattack it, and black lost too many time not developing pieces, and now knight on b8 and bishop on c8 are just placed too bad. Yeah, knight d7 now, but once again, now the bishop on c8 is just like dead at this point, and there's no way to activate. Oh, e5, so white decided to straightly go for the tactical way to try to win, but I think maybe that was too fast. What if black took on e5, but we'll never know this because black didn't. Well, I just want to place a knight on c5, and we'll be happy with this. Once again, this is a blitz game, not a classical one, so maybe easy ways are not always so bad. I just mean that white now play rook 81, and white could play it before playing e5. And when you have so much of a space advantage, you usually don't really want to force the issue, because you will more easily find some comfortable ways to place your pieces stronger than your opponent would. 1 second, I'm sorry. So knight c5. I'm sorry, I'm back. So yeah, knight c5. So white has the c5 and e5 squares here that are the main problem for black. So black have d5 and b5 squares on the exchange, but you see the main problem for black is a very bad placed bishop on c8, and now white just ruined all this advantage by exchanging on d5, because now bishop will have opportunity to go to b5 maybe. It will take some time, of course, but at least there is a window for black just to... The fact that black could play around. So trying to activate the bishop, you see. But it will be still too difficult because the pawn on a6 is weak, so you can't just play bishop b7 and bishop c6. And also there's a lot of tactics going around. And black really can't afford, I think, to play bishop takes e5, because after this, white will just strategically win the game, because he will have too much of an advantage on the dark squares, because white squared bishop is useless on dark squares. Rook e3 is a very weird move. So white are going for the rook f3, maybe. Bishop f8. So rook f3 now, I think.
Yeah, same.
Forcing the f5. Yeah, but queen d3, so I'm not really... Queen, well, queen is really well placed on d3, but the only problem for... my only problem with this move is that now the b4 pawn is not defended. And yeah, so black can go for a sacrifice like this, so... Yeah, black sacrifices the a6 pawn, but now I think maybe white can count something like knight takes g6, but it will be met by bishop b5, I think. But it's still maybe not enough. The attack is going to be very strong. Rook takes b4 is definitely not enough. Now it's just the question of the way that white choose to win this game. Maybe just play like knight takes e6, something like this. No, white just decide to go on e5. I think that's a decent move as well. Bishop b5, queen d2 is the move now, I think. No, just attacking the rook. Yeah. And the next move maybe is like rook f3. So yeah, I'm just always want to... Oh, yeah, that's a sacrifice. That's actually a very good move if black don't straight lose here after something like queen g4. Because now the position is very complicated. The only problem is black have like 14 seconds left. That's definitely not enough to defend this kind of position. Yeah, and knight takes f7 is just... This is such a strong move, especially if you have 11 seconds on the opposite side.
Okay, here is end. And another top game against VP Setter.
Yeah, VP Setter is once again berserking, and once again he's having a good time. Because white's position looks good enough. I think black could take on b2 now, but decided to go for queen f2. Maybe there's some straight tactics that I don't see. Yeah, g6 is defending from queen h7 check. And now black don't really have some straights. Don't really have some threats right now. But the position is like very... The pieces are positioned very well. You see, white is just giving up pawns just to open some space to play around. but it's still not enough because even the d8 square is defended. Everything is defended on the black side. Knight d5. This is just so cruel. So no open files for the rook, no ways to like activate pieces. Yeah, white still managed to find some opportunities, and actually, yeah, black can now play queen takes b2, and it's a very strange move. So black starts to play for the time. Yeah, because white just don't have the extra 2 seconds, so 11 seconds, this is just, yeah, play for the time. 11 seconds is definitely not enough to win here. Queen f6 maybe is now the move. I'm not sure. Knight f4, yeah. I think black can now choose like any way to how to win this position, like queen a1 check, I think. Oh no, queen a1 check would be met by rook d1, so maybe that's not accurate. Yeah, queen f5 is a very strong move. Now queen takes h3, yeah. Well, sometimes, once again, I say sometimes this happens when you play a berserk. So now g5 maybe is enough. Knight e2. So black are just trying to win as much time as possible. Queen h2. Yeah, so giving up the knight. Well, I think not exchanging the queens is a very dangerous decision because now after queen h2 check, white would play king d3. And there are no really ways to defend the f7 pawn except the queen a2. Well, black have a queen a2 move here, and it was just a lucky chance. But even by not playing queen a2, black still won this game. I think there is a checkmate here in like 2 or 3 moves, but even with some time to think, I don't see how white actually checkmate here. So maybe...
Do you want to analyze it?
No.
No?
Let's just don't waste time just...
Oh, look, Mip Chess
Oh,
is
I
winning.
know how there was a checkmate, like queen a6 check, king h5, queen f3. Well, that's not quite interesting. Let's just go for the next.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go. This position is interesting.
Okay.
I know the guy playing on the white side. He's from MBPT. So what can I say about this position? You see the pawn structure on the white side is, I think, the first player to invent how actually strong this is Wilhelm Stenitz, the first world champion. So what's the point here? That white has a weak square on d3, but there are no really ways for black to fight for this square, actually. So white can comfortably like exchange rooks on d file, or maybe even not exchange, because there are no squares to place. Even if black has the d file under his control, there are no places that you can attack. So there are no control on the d2 square, and the control on the d3 square is just useless. And you see, in the opposite side, the black's pawn on c5 is not good enough because you see black were now forced to play e5 and weaken the d5 and f5 squares. And yeah, positionally, black's position is actually very bad now to be met by knight f5. And yeah, queen b8 is the only move in order not to lose after knight c7. Well, now white can go for something like b4 maybe. Knight e3 seems too slow for me, but maybe... Well, I don't know. I think white can play this position however he likes, because this is just too much advantage. So knight e3 was played with the idea of h4 and bishop h3, I think, because yeah, h4 is like quite an obvious signal that white is going to play bishop h3. So queen b7, I think, is the next move. Yeah, a4 maybe is a good resource actually, in order to weaken the c4 square. So much weak squares actually for black. A4, I think, at this moment is very good because it can be met by A6 because of bishop takes D7, queen takes D7, knight B6. Bishop G4 is strange for me. I don't understand why you have to make such a move, to be honest. Because the bishop on H3 was stronger than the bishop on H5. Well, maybe at some point of view it extends the control of the white squares, but I think white already had enough control. Oh, B4, I don't like this move because now the C4 square is given up, and knight B6. I think white can just even exchange on B6 without having some troubles. There are no really some threats because if black takes the C3 pawn, white will just play B takes C3 and nothing will change really. Yeah, bishop E3. No threats, but maybe white just want to play like rook D3, rook A D1, something like this. But I think white actually wasted some time while say like B4, A4, because now this position is not so advantageous as it was like 10 to 15 moves before this moment. So actually the only advantages that white have is the strong d5 square and the better bishop. But in the end game, this may not be enough, I think. H5. Once again, I think it's too slow. A5, I don't like this move. I actually don't like the H6 move as well. Maybe I'm just too serious about this. I don't understand why black don't want to take the C3 pawn, because after this exchange, the B file will be under his control. Oh, king G2 maybe is a mistake, because A3 is now looking very strong for me. Yeah. A3 or maybe even C4. I don't like the B takes C3 move, to be honest, because once again, if we were like in the middle game, this will be fine, but in the end game, the pawns on A file may be very strong, because as you know, knight is a very bad piece to fight against to try to stop the pawn that is far from center. But white actually lose this pawn, sacrifice it. I don't think that this was a good decision. Because there will be no checkmate threats now. Rook h1 will be met by h5, and there was too much of positional play, I think, in white's game plan. So at some point you have to force the issue, and just white, I think, missed this moment. Yeah, now h5 I think is quite an obvious move. Knight g5 is surprisingly bad. I don't know why you have to make such a move. Maybe h5 was met by g4, but I don't think that really was the case. Now the attack may be very strong, because once again the bishop on f8 is just useless. Black. King to h5 is, well, this is really scary, I think. I will take with the rook on h file. I'll play rook h takes h7. Yeah, this way. c4, trying to activate the bishop on c5. Rook f7, I will never make such a move, but maybe it's good, because the bishop c5 is met by rook takes f6 now. c3 is a very spicy move, because now, yeah, If white would go for knight takes c3, it will be met by bishop c5, and now the pawn is already on c2. But I don't think that this is going to be really dangerous, because black squared bishop can't really help in any way. Because if he goes away to a3, it will be instantly met by rook g7 check, and the king will be checkmated for sure. And also pawn, by standing on c2, is giving white opportunity to play f4 check if he wishes. Rook e8 was funny, but not enough, I think, once again. Knight e3 is an easy move here, and yeah, or maybe rook c7. Yeah, now rook just takes on c2, and this is definitely going to be enough. Rook c6 check now is the move, I think. Yeah. I'll just exchange and simply win this game by like playing knight e7. No, rook e6, yeah, just winning one more extra pawn. Well, I think we already know how this game will finish, so we can choose some other.
Okay. 10 viewers by now, and MIP chess is still leading the way, like heavily leading. Yeah, so the top game. I just looked on the players, like MIP players on the first place and so on. Like I mean,
what kind of is this?
what?
What kind of a position is this? I'm saying. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Queen d2 is checkmating in 2 moves. Yeah, that's it.
Oh yeah, it's resignation. This was fast, I would say. So this was the next game.
Let's see the games of this champion. So he is
Yeah,
obviously very strong. He has like big rating, and he is leading the way. I don't like Black's position, to be honest. I think this is, yeah, knight g5 is a very strong move. Because h6, Black couldn't play h6 because of knight takes a6, f takes a6, queen h5 check. Now knight g6 is played. Yeah, queen h5. I think you can't play the French type of positions in this way. This is too passive. You have to create, so that's why in the French opening, Black usually play knight c6, queen b6, because you have to create some threats for whites, and can't just give white opportunity to comfortably develop the pieces, because strategically the French opening is very risky. So we have to find some tactical ways. Queen e7, maybe mid by knight a3, for example, or maybe f4. White has a very comfortable choice of good moves here. Yeah, f4 just is an obvious one. Castling, now I think white may wish to play like a4 maybe, or maybe just simply f5. Knight a3 is still good, I think. Yeah, f5 is the simplest way, maybe. So now the f7 pawn is under a very serious attack. White can already play like knight takes f7. Knight takes f7 is winning the game now because of queen takes f7. Then we take the d7 knight with a check, and then we take the g6 knight, and we are a minor piece up. This is so easy. But I think once again white has a very big choice of ways to win this game. Knight takes f7 is just the best one, I think. But queen takes d7, bishop takes d7 is enough. So it's fine. And knight takes f7, yeah. This is simple as well. Black has to resign, I think, because this is an arena tournament. You don't really want to waste some time trying to find some points in the obviously lost position.
You want to move to the next one?
Yeah, let's go. This is just too boring for me.
Oh,
yeah, let's watch the second one.
the second?
Yeah,
This, it's the same one.
this is the first.
The first one.
I mean, the Nurmagomedov game. Can we watch?
Normally, yes.
Yeah, so here we see the theoretical position of French opening. White have to play b4 here. b4, and it is going to be met by knight takes b4, c takes b4, bishop takes b4 check, bishop d2, and a lot of theory after this. I don't really know it too well. I'm not a specialist in this exact variation.
Never am I.
Despite playing French opening like my whole life, I was never going for this position because this is too complicated, and I personally don't like complicated positions. Nurmagomedov Omarov, I think, is having some troubles with internet because b4 is the move that you may automatically do. So all this is a theory, I think. Players are very fast. Castling will be met by knight c4, yeah. I'm not sure if this is a theory as well. For me, this is looking like a blunder.
What, knight c4?
Oh, knight b3 is maybe solving these problems. Oh no, but now queen a3 is just destroying white. Because knight on b2 has nowhere to go, and if white take on c4, the pawns will just destroy everything in their way. Rook f3. Oh, rook f3. White is going for the bishop takes h7 sacrifice. You see? Then rook h3, queen h5. That's funny, but I don't think that's enough because black will just go away, and after queen h5, we'll just play like f5. And it will be nothing to write home about, really. Queen h5, yeah, f5 now. Simple as that. f6. Well, maybe f6 can also be played, but queen h7 now can be played. Then e takes f6 maybe. I don't actually like the f6 move. I play f5. Yeah, because now black will have some problems. You don't really want to play king takes f6, but I think at this position you just have to. And also look at this, the queen on a3 is placed very dangerously because the rook on h3 is just aiming, and the knight is waiting for his opportunity to find some square to go and attack the queen. Rook g3 is looking good for me, but can be met by queen e7. No, it can't be, because if black play queen e7, white will play queen h4 check, king f7, and rook takes g7. King e7, well, at this point, I already don't believe that black can defend this position. For me, this is too much, I think. I'm not sure that rook stage g7 is exactly the move that is winning, but I think queen c2 is very strong now. Oh no, it will be met by knight c4. Rook c7, white is aiming for queen e7, checkmate. It can be defended only by rook e8, I think. Rook e8, and then queen g7. Now queen e5 is the threat, but I don't think that that's already a good move, because black can play knight c4 now, yeah. Maybe this is enough. Well, maybe white can... No, knight takes d4, I don't think that it is going to be enough because of queen e3 check. Rook c5 is a move that I don't really like because of queen takes c5, at least. At the very least. And also, yeah, black has the rook e7 move. I think white lost the track at some point. I didn't like the rook take g7 because this destroys a tactical idea of rook standing in the same line as the queen. Well, now if we like abstractly talk about this position, not remembering what was before, black is minor piece up, but white has some quite dangerous attack. I will still say that black has advantage here. Oh, black actually can. No, I think black could play queen b2, but that was not the case because of rook takes c4. So black just played bishop b7, playing around the fact that white don't really have some threats right now. Maybe rook ac1, yeah, is the move. And now rook takes c4, sacrifices on the cards. I don't really know how dangerous it actually is. Rook takes b5, I didn't even think that this kind of move is possible. Fine. Rook takes b5. Bishop a6. A very complicated position, and white have 16 seconds. This may be a very disappointing fact. Maybe just play rook takes c7 and pray for the best. Yeah, that's what white actually do. But yeah, there is nothing really good in this position. Black can play rook c1 now, maybe. Simply. The problem is rook takes a6 is not actually a very strong threat because of like king b7 and white don't have the next move after this. Maybe just take on e6, yeah. But after this, black can exchange on e6 and play maybe queen b6 check, and it's an endgame, yeah. Well, but maybe f5 is a mistake, I think, because now rook f4, yeah. Maybe if white plays g3, we'll have a game. And now I think black's victory is going to be quite easy.
So should we move to another one?
No, let's watch. This is not too obvious, I think. Rook h5 is a huge mistake, I think. Black had to play rook f6, not letting the king activate, because now black is really playing with fire. Well, rook is still very strong, so... Oh no. Rook g8, this is just unfortunate. Yeah. The pawn on g3 can be defended, and yeah, white resigned.
White resigned. Oh, look, Argentum is on lead.
Yeah, so we have a new leader. I don't know who it is.
Me neither. I just wanted to ask you if you know him.
So let's watch the games. Maybe we'll have some clues.
Oh yeah, it's him.
Oh, he's berserking as well.
Yeah.
Well, but his opponent really don't have a very impressive rating, so I understand why you're going for time sacrifice. So what can we say about this position? Once again, looks like one or two moves past the theory, and bishop knight on c6 is attacked, so queen b6 now. White can, for example, play knight takes d5, e takes d5, exchange on c5, and play around the isolated pawn. But yeah, decides to play b takes c5 first. Maybe queen takes c5 is going to be met by rook c1, so maybe it's the case that white is trying to make black's decisions more difficult. So knight takes c3, wow. It's actually strong, I think. Oh no, it's not. Black will not have isolated pawn now, but now white can take on g7, yeah, and just have an extra pawn. And two bishops. So the realization is going to be quite comfortable, I think. Now queenside castle is the only option for black, I think. Just try to not let white make a queenside castle themselves. And if white castle on kingside, the rook on h7 may be dangerous. a6 is a very bad move, I think. Oh no, black is even exchanging queens. I don't think that this is a good decision. Once again, I think black is just playing for time, and as I always say, that's not a good strategy, really. Black even don't have a time advantage here.
Yeah,
The only advantage is
not
that
anymore.
the only advantage is that white don't have 2 extra seconds that are added because of the berserk. But I think 40 seconds is enough here. Yeah, just rook c1. I don't like the choice of the complicated moves when you have 30 seconds, so 37 seconds without additional time. So I think white had to use the opportunity to exchange rooks. Oh, black actually exchanged rooks themselves. Don't think that was a good idea because rook on d5 was quite strong. So you see, white is not wasting time and playing very fast because you don't really have to think in this kind of positions. I don't understand why white is playing so slow, because I will just play like g4, f4, h4 and just try to straight win. c5, rook c4 maybe is a move. I don't like the rook a5 move because it could be met by c4 and rook b2, for example. Actually, black the moves that black make are not maybe strong if we talk about the classical game, but black is wasting a lot of time with white. So funny. Well, that's how you win tournaments. So
yeah.
this was an idea that I totally didn't see coming, and
Never me.
it was surprisingly strong.
Okay, let's watch another. I believe I will win it. Even
I
if
take all my words back. That was perfect.
it's wait, it's almost a middle game, almost an end game, and we both have 3 minutes. Quite
Yeah,
strange for me.
that's very surprising. Oh, it's a 19th move only, so maybe this was something like a theory. Well, white clearly have an advantage here. And I'm not only talking about rating, I'm also talking about the position. So the bishop, the pawn on d5 is attacked. I think black has to sacrifice the g7 pawn, because I think the d5 pawn is very important here. And black decide to just sacrifice both pawns. So black don't want to choose themselves, they want white to choose. Well, white actually can take on g7 and just takes on d5. I think that was a mistake, because now white will also have some initiative. I will just play rook h5 here. I think rook h5 is strong, because this is just too many attacks on the kingside pawns, and black will lose some for sure. G file is open also. Rook d1. Well, I don't really like this move too much. I don't see the idea, to be honest. The idea is maybe to tactically defend the f2 pawn, because now black clearly can't take on f2 because of, for example, like I don't know, rook d6 check. Oh no, as I say that, I eat my words because black actually took the f2. I don't think that this is good. For example, if I was white, maybe I will consider d7. White decided just to take on g7 pawn, and I don't like this decision once again. For me, it's very strange, a very strangely played endgame. I will go for some ideas, like, playing for initiative, not for the material. But maybe once again, for the blitz game, this is not actually a very good strategy. Rook c7, I think I would play bishop e5 here. Because if after bishop e5, if black play rook e7, we will play rook d6 check. And after king b7, we'll play rook d7 check. I can't even guess a single move. This is so depressing. I don't like, once again, the rook d7, rook d3 move, because after black played bishop b6, black consolidated his position. But yeah, bishop e5 is still strong enough. But now you see, black's bishop is placed on b6, and now if white play rook d6 check, black can comfortably play king b5 and solve all his problems, and not play just king b7. If there was no bishop on b6, I think this will lead to a checkmate, but now it's not the case. So now white maybe can play rook 3 to d5 check. And if black plays king a6, maybe we can go for b4 and try to checkmate black. And once again, I can't guess a single move. How is this even possible? What are the chances? Once again, I thought that black would play king a6. I don't like the king c5 move, to be honest. This is, I know, this is scary. If I was white, I would play f4 here, maybe. Or maybe rook c3 check. Now I will guess the move for sure, because white actually have two moves, f4 and rook c3 check. If white make some other move, I'll be very surprised.
Which ones?
F4, yeah, so that's one of them.
And the next?
F4, the next move was rook c3 check, and just repeating the position and trying to find something better. Rook g8, so now maybe white has to play a3 to consolidate, or maybe rook g3, and white actually play a4. Well, I like the a4 move because it's white is going for a checkmate. So now the threat is rook b5 check, king c4, and b3 checkmate. This will be actually very beautiful. And maybe this threat is not so easy to defend against. I don't actually see the way how black can defend. So maybe me not guessing the moves is just white playing some genius chess. Rook b5 is checkmating now. Rook b5 and b3 checkmate. Two moves. I'm surprised that white took so many time to think about this, because I think that was actually the idea of all these moves. And yeah, now black see
b3
what's coming, but it's too late already.
A pawn checkmate. So beautiful.
That's always beautiful, and all the white pieces are taking part in this.
Yeah. MIP chess is leading the way from the beginning.
Oh wow, 30 points. That's
yes,
quite
like everybody else is by 10 and 30 again, 10, less than 10. Outstanding game. Oh, let's watch the first one.
Oh, that's a series. Oh, you see that players have some dynamics. So black is having quite a serious winning 41. Oh no, they agreed to draw.
Oh, it's a draw. Yeah.
Oh, wow. By the way, who is this guy?
Cruz or
Orda99.
Oh, well, he's not from our.
I'm curious. Well, you see, after studying in the MIPT University, I was also studying in the Rudan University, and I'm not sure who this guy is.
Oh, well, I didn't
So
know.
I'm interested.
Okay, I see. So maybe this one.
H6. So once again, this is quite a typical position. So I say black has a weakness on d6, but it's compensated with the fact that we have the c file instead, and also you see we are black, so we are quite comfortable to have like slightly worse position. So we black just usually want to have the positions that can be drawn if you play like good. So this is one of those positions. Usually a problem in this position is a dark squared bishop for black. Dark squared bishop is going to be exchanged right now. So it's interesting that black opted for playing king e7. Because you see there's no fear in black's place. And maybe black had to fear, because this change of the pawn structure is definitely not good for black. Because now you see white have, I think, like 2 tempos. So if black consolidate and play rook h8 and then king f8, maybe black's position is going to be fine. I think white would still have an advantage, but not a very big one. But while rook is on h8 and king is on e7, yeah, something like d6 can come through every move. And yeah, now it's just winning because of, yeah, queen takes e5, bishop h3 check, and you see white has an extra piece in play. This is a very big advantage. So now we just have to find an accurate move that is just finishing this game. I think maybe this is something like bishop f5 check. White is opting for bishop h3, knowing that if that's not a good move, we can always play bishop g2, yeah, back. I'll play queen f5 here. Queen f5, then maybe exchange on d6 and play queen a5 check. But I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't see how it continues after this. King e7 is a very weird decision, because black gives white an opportunity to play rook fe1 check, and it's an easy victory. What? Oh no, rook e1 check would be met by rook e6. I'm sorry, I was wrong. But still, this wasn't a good decision, because, yeah, now we have the same position that we would have if black played king d8, but white had an extra tempo, and the rook is on e1, not on f1. Queen f3 is a very strong move. Queen e8 is an inevitable threat. Very difficult to defend against. Maybe just play rook e8 and pray for the best. Oh no, rook d1 is also a threat. Oh my god. Queen f3 is a very strong. So black definitely can defend against 2 threats. And king c7 will be met by queen b7 check. Wow, that's impressive.
Queen b7 check. But when queen c7?
Queen c7. Queen c7. Queen c7 is strong. But oh, wow, queen c7 is really strong. Oh, and black resigned. Wow.
Yeah.
Let's see let's just think what would be the way to win if black played queen c7. No, let's just think. Let's not watch
Okay.
let's see.
We can make a check by d1, but I'm
but
sure.
black will play king e7. Well, you know what? I think we can play like queen a8 check, queen c8, and then something like queen a7. Just some silent move. And just we create too many threats, I think. Let's watch. Am I right or not?
Let's watch an analysis.
Yeah. Rook a8, yeah, is losing, so maybe queen c7. Queen c7.
Wait,
No, you said that queen c7. Yeah, we were thinking.
Yeah, but after king goes d7.
No, king d7 is queen b7 check and queen a8 then.
So queen c7.
Yeah, I think. Oh, rook d1 is winning. Oh, queen a3 check. I didn't see this move. Yeah, this is strong. And just taking on a6. Wow. Okay.
Okay, return and watch another one, right? Wait, it's not like watching. How do I disable analysis?
Just go back. Ah, yeah. Just.
But it's not. Please return me. I'm lost.
Let's just go back to the game.
But no, it's like you see, I'm going to back the games. Ah, it works. Okay. Commandant with Berserk.
White is berserking against the player who is 300 points better at rating. That's desperate, I would say.
How do we say it? Brave and bold or something
Yeah,
like this?
bold. Yeah, that's bold. So let's see if it works for White. It's hard actually not to root White after this kind of move. B4. Wow, it's quite a complicated position. C5, yeah, C5 is strong. Well, the position is very equal for me. Now Black will play Rook D8. Well, maybe White may actually have some problems. This pin is not looking good. But surprisingly, there is nowhere to go for the Black's bishop. Only the D5 square. Queen C3 is aiming at the G7 king. A lot of tactics going on, and this is not good for White, because White don't have time to count all this. Just to play and pray. King F1, Bishop B7. Bishop B7, I like this move. King E1, well, this is... I think this is too much. Yeah, something like E5. Oh no, why did White decide to take the E5 pawn? I'm not sure. What was the point? White could just go away knight. Now White is just losing. I think it will be good enough just to resign now. I'm not sure why White is playing actually. What's the case?
Well, he has a berserk where loss will be like.
I think there is no possibility that White will not lose this game. There's no draw because even if White make a lot of mistakes and White makes an excellent job defending this position, Black will still win on time because of the berserk. So I don't see why you play this kind of position. Rook b3, yeah, that's strong. And you see, the problem is that even if all the pawns exchanged and Black only have the h7 pawn, the h1 square is White. So this will be victorious position. Well, I think it's just a desperation. At this point, I don't see why you play this kind of position. Maybe White is trying to win some time. just not playing for his own points, but playing for the team, trying to win as much time as possible. But if you do this, why would you resign in the position? I don't think that I understand what's the case.
Oh, something tough here.
Oh, that's a rook ending, and a very difficult one.
Yeah, and with 20
A lot
seconds.
of checkmate threats going around. And black is having berserk in 18 seconds. You see, taking berserk in every game is so stressing. If black wins this game, I'll be really impressed. And now black actually has some chances. But 9 seconds, is it enough? Oh, now it is enough, I think. King c3 and b2. Oh, wow. This black really wins this game. You see, black is not even going for the rook, trying to actually win. Not comfortable with the draw.
Oh,
Wow, wow,
yeah.
I'm so impressed. This was such a difficult position. I think this guy deserves to win this tournament.
Yeah.
But he is, oh, wow, he's 17 points down.
7. Where do you see it? Where can...
Down, down, look down. He's a fourth spot.
Yeah.
17 points.
Okay.
Well, he's not having the best tournament in his life. But you see, he
Yeah.
already won some previous tournaments, so should be happy with this, maybe.
Oh, okay. Let's...
His team is winning, so I think he's happy.
Yeah. He should be. Like Argentum is winning.
Wow, 2 leaders are playing.
Wait,
And once again, we have French opening.
what is Andrei's nickname on the chess?
Whose nickname?
Andrei's.
I don't know. He didn't tell me.
Can he be Argentum?
I'm not sure. Maybe. Why not? So, what can we say about this position? Black's problem, as it always is in French opening, is the white squared bishop on b7. If black somehow find a way to activate it, they'll have an advantageous position. So you see the structure, the pawn structure itself, is better for black than for white. But if you look at the king side, white can have a strong attack with their pieces by playing like queen g4, for example. It will be very difficult for black to defend all these points. That's why you are moving your pawn to h5, actually. I like the way that white played this so much, because I think now white has quite an advantage here. Because black really can't castle on the king side, because they will be just destroyed with white's bishops and the queen. And if black opts to castle on the queen side, it will be met by something like a4, for example. So black decided not to castle at all, but I don't think this is enough. Knight going to a4. Maybe this will create some exchanges for black. That's what black is desperately looking for. So we have one exchange on the cards, but now bishop is a little bit activated, but it's still just aiming at its own pawn. The d6 square is weak, by the way. I think white have to exchange here, play maybe rook d1, rook d6 maybe. Or maybe already look for some tactics. Rook d6, no, 6 is not the move, I think. Maybe... Well, maybe I was just too overhyping white's position. Maybe black now consolidate and just have the 2 bishops advantage, and the position is fine. I'm not sure. Surprisingly, black have a lot of time now. So yeah, black has time to play king h7. Knight is going to g4. White wants to sacrifice bishop on h6, maybe. What was the idea? Oh no, just to exchange the bishops. Well, for me it's too slow. I don't think this is a good idea. Black don't want to exchange bishops, but this may be kind of risky because sacrifices on h6 now became stronger. So, no, why just play bishop d4? Well, you see, now black fully consolidated their position, and now black will have an advantage, I think, because of the two bishops. But once again, I may be just too ahead of myself. So, bishop e3. Black can take on h5 because of knight f6 check. Oh, maybe this is a draw. I'm not sure if both of the players... No, black don't want to draw. Black thinks that his position is better. That's ambitious. White can play queen e3 now. Maybe it will be met by queen g5. Yeah, it definitely will. The problem is when you're playing against two bishops that you can't really open the play. So every move like a4 that opens some space is not good for you because bishop is always going to be better than the knight in this kind of position. Also look at the g4 knight. He is very much misplaced. Wow, king h4 is bold. Why would you give white opportunities like sacrificing on h6? It was going to be met by queen takes h5, but this is so complicated. That's why this guy is winning this tournament and not me. That's what you need to be a strong player. Okay. It's not playing too straightforward. King is going to a2. Well, but you see, black exchanged queens, and it looks better than the reductions that black were getting by playing queen g5, but maybe it's not really, because the open g file creates a lot of opportunities for white, like knight g4, for example. I don't understand why white is thinking. I think knight g4 is an obvious move here. Oh, wow, bishop d6. Oh, wow. The idea is that if black takes, white will play rook d1. Black still take on d6. I think knight g4 was a very strong move instead of playing bishop d6. Because it created the knight f6 check threat. And if black played king h7, it will be met by bishop f8. And now you see that d6 pawn is very far away, but this may not actually be good because it will be difficult for white to defend all this, and black will comfortably play f5, f4, and something like this. G1, f4 now. Oh, if black plays f4, white will play rook g6 check and knight f5. Rook f7 was a good decision for me. Oh, maybe white could play knight takes f5, sacrifice knight, and don't take on g7. But opted not to do this. I'm not sure if this was a good idea, actually. Once again, now white can play knight takes f5. I think this may be a strong move. I think it's winning, actually. Yeah, knight takes f5 and rook takes g7. Now maybe black has to play bishop a8, but it's not enough because of rook c7 check, king d7, king d5 and d7, rook f8 and rook c8. And that's the end. So once again, a very beautiful endgame from white. I'm really impressed. This guy deserves to be winning this tournament, if he actually will. Now you can play just d7, rook c7, then d7, then c6, and rook c8. So rook and 2 pawns can just win the game single-handedly with no help from king. And yeah, black resigns. A very beautiful game between the two leaders. And I think this may already be deciding the tournament, actually. Oh wow, I like this variation so much. This is French opening, and you see I'm kind of an expert in this variation. And
The first piece was
I would
traded.
yeah, this is always like this in this variation. I would say that White made a very good job here, because I actually like White's position so much. Oh, but Queen E1 is a very weak move for me. I don't see why would you do that, because now Black can play Bishop C2 and activate the bishop.
But
This is
what do you suggest
oh,
instead?
wow. White had to play Queen D2, and after Knight B3, White could play in Queen E1, and Black will not have this kind of an opportunity. But looks like the player are not even thinking about this. This is surprising, because activating the bishop is the main idea here for Black. Just look at what this bishop will be. What squares would this bishop have if he's not going to c2? Just no squares, absolutely useless piece. And now the bishop standing on f5 will be just like the strongest piece on the black side. This is a very huge blunder, I think. But still, White's position is better here, because the pawn on h6 is very strong, and the dark squares are very weak for Black. Also, knights are very misplaced for Black. I personally think that you see, I know a lot of grandmasters that just say that in this variation I just have a huge advantage. I think that's really not the case. The case is that people playing for Black just don't know how you actually have to play this kind of positions. So you see, the theory is good, but after the theory, the ideas that are approached by players are not what you really have to do in these kind of positions. For me, my opinion, I may be wrong, but I don't think I am. Well, this position is one of those positions that you see, a game can be played like for 40, 50 moves, but at the end, White will win this for sure. Also, White has a rook f7. That's already enough, I think. If White managed to take the h7 pawn, this is over. The only problem is the pin, but I think that queen on h8, h4 can be easily defended by the king, for example. By even playing king g2, king h3. I think this is the easiest way to win this. Or maybe, yeah, maybe just going away with the queen. No queen, no pin. Maybe Black can now play rook takes. Oh no, rook takes f7 will be met by knight takes f7. So Black can't afford this. King e8. Now I think White can just take on h7 and be happy with this. No, with the rook. Yeah. Just have an extra pawn, and this pawn is placed on h6 and can be defended, so this will be a very strong advantage. Yeah, finally White finds this move, and I think it's over. Well, still had to sacrifice. Oh, it's even not a sacrifice because after this exchange, queen on h2 is giving a check to the king. White can then play g5, but I don't even think that white actually have to. I think even h7 is enough here. But yeah, g5 is a move that you have to do when you play a blitz game. Why risk it when you can comfortably win? h7 is an inevitable threat. Black maybe will play queen h7. This will be met by something like queen d6. And for sure, this is enough. Oh, I think we can watch some other game. This is too obvious.
11 minutes till the end of the tournament.
We have just 11 minutes left. Once again, we have some interesting games with Berserks. You see, VP Setter is always playing for the content. We have to be like thankful.
Yeah, to him.
Yeah. Oh wow, White blundered the b2 pawn for some reason. Oh wow. You see, that's what happens when even when you have like 2600 rating and you try to play for the time, this stuff happens. So Black blundered 2 key pawns and now we'll lose. That's why you never have to play for the time if you're playing against a guy who is berserking you. Rook a8 is a weird move. But still, bishop on a3 is defending everything. There is no knight e7 check. Yeah, white played e4, but all this is just useless. Oh no, rook a8 was actually a strong move because now, yeah, bishop b2 is forcing the issue. So now rook just goes away and we play a3, a2, a1, and it's win without any problems. Of course, yeah, white will not resign here because 30 seconds, some magic still can happen. People sometimes make very weird decisions while having time trouble. Let's see if that's not the case and if black succeed in winning this. Yeah, now it's going to be fine. Rook on c2, I think, is guaranteeing black from all the problems. c4, yeah. Rook a2 now, I think, is the move. Rook a8 even. Well, black can comfortably choose between the ways. So yeah, even taking on e4. Black don't want to give white a single chance. Well, now rook will go away for sure, yeah. White can't afford to exchange and have to play for the time. Rook b3 is making some problems for black. Rook a1 was stronger. Well, wow, knight before black is checkmating actually. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Huge win. He won a game against a strong player with a huge rating, being berserking, and at the end of the tournament. What are we even watching?
Something tense, like it has 5 seconds. One of them.
Well, how bold you have to be to play berserk against a guy that is like has 700 bigger rating than you? This is quite ambitious, I would say.
He was inspired by VP Setter.
Yeah.
Oh, just a new fresh game with a berserk. So cool.
I think I used to play with the guy playing black. His nickname looks familiar to me.
Oh, Vladik.
Wow. Taking on b2 is very bold, and I think... Or even taking on c3.
So 2 pawns up. Black
is having none of it. It just wants to like You sacrifice the pawns, okay, I'll just take everything, and you have 1 minute, so try to punish me.
So to answer, I think I saw that Celtic was from MSU team, chess club.
I for sure I know this guy, but I remember him from the Lichess game. So I would say that compensation for the 2 pawns may not be enough, I think. But at least White tried. I don't see actually any way to break Black's position after Black plays Bishop d7. So the defense is just too strong, I think. So the only thing that we can do here is take the pawn on c6, but it will lead to a lot of the exchanges. And after this, we're not talking about anything. Yeah, rook b8, queen a1, and e5, yeah. Oh, with center and the 2 bishops, I think everyone is a strong player. So yeah, knight c5, bishop c8, we played, I think. I would even consider queen takes c5, maybe. Oh, actually, there is also a bishop h3 move. I didn't even notice that. Ooh. Sacrificing on g2, I think Black can even think which piece they want to be taking on g2. Yeah, Black just is not looking for some complicated ways. He's just like, okay, I'll just take all the pawns, and just... Oh, queen takes c5. I like this move so much. This is so cruel. White queen, I think, is not going to make a single move in this game. Oh no, he does. Queen c1. Now bishop b4 check will be played. Bishop f5 is a checkmate. Oh wow. No, it's not. e4 is an e4 move. Oh, this is just a pure distraction. Oh wow, White is even going to make 1 check in this game. Queen takes c6 check. But I think that's it. d4 is a threat now, and a very strong... No, it's not a strong one, because of rook takes d4. Oh no, rook takes d4 and bishop takes c6, so d4 is winning, actually. d4, d4. Let's go. Yeah, let's go. Rook takes d4, and even e takes d4 is possible. This will be brutal. But we'll not see it because White resigned. He read it.
I believe we have...
Oh, wow, wow, wow. What an interesting position.
Game.
So queen and 2 pawns. Queen and a pawn against rook, bishop, and a knight. I would say that this is impossible to play if you have a queen, because White has just too many pieces. Oh, and wow, there's a triple fork is on the cards, and Black can defend from it. Rook d7, yeah, knight d6, bang. Now it's definitely enough. Now it's definitely enough to win. Rook e3 may be played, I think. Yeah. King f5. Oh, king is going to be checkmated quite soon, I think, if he goes to e4. How will we do this? I think maybe king f2. I like the rook d3 move also. Yeah. So what kind of ideas do we have here? So maybe we play, yeah, e3. No reasons to sacrifice pawns. We can just play with some comfort. So yeah, white decide not to try and checkmate black. Maybe white can even catch the queen here. Queen actually don't have a lot of squares to go if white are allowed to play rook b3. e4 is a pawn sacrifice, yeah, after rook f5. Oh no, it's not. King e6, rook f1, yeah, and f5 will be met by maybe g4. I'm not sure. And g4 will be met by g6. So white decide not to play g4 and play rook d2. And yeah, when two white rooks will stand on the d file, I think the checkmate will be inevitable. The problem is that white don't want to sacrifice the c2 pawn, but I think white can easily afford this. Rook d7. Black will play king e6, I think. And maybe after king e6, white want to play rook fd1. Oh, I think now
Again,
white
all the
may
wrong
consider.
choices.
Oh, h3 is very careful. I like that. So white just think that, you know what, you can take the c2 pawn, but now I'm playing rook fd1. You will never have draw by a lot of checks, because you can give only one check. Well, I'll just play king h2 and no more checks for you. So yeah, king f6, h4, bishop g5 is a threat, and the checkmate on e7. Yeah, that's what it will look like finally.
Okay, or the wins.
17 seconds.
Lost.
So we don't have the games that can be finished already, and now we'll have our champions, the MIPT University, and the
Never was
unknown
and
player Argentum, who is just carrying his team with 54 points.
Yeah, congrats to Argentum.
Congratulations. So I'd like to know who this guy is.
We'll find it. I make my guess that it might be Andrei.
Well, maybe.
Who was in the previous stream. Well, MAPT wins. How surprising. Nobody
Also, congratulations, yeah, to
expected.
Also, congratulations to Orda99. I found out that it's Dalgan. Congratulations to him. Beautiful points, beautiful tournament. 69 points is nice, as you know. Only one lost game in the first one. Wow. What streak.
I believe here's the second lost game, but you don't lose points for a streak.
Oh yeah, really?
I believe yes. I'm not sure. Well, by the way, what happens if you play the game and the tournament ends before it?
You don't get you get the rating, but you don't get the team points.
Okay, I see. Well, so you can watch it. MIPT, Perm University Chess Club, MSU, University of Warwick. Warwick, I believe, is some foreigners, right? Ruden, Georgia Tech Chess, Brack University.
We have quite an international, a lot of international teams here. From all around the world. That's very impressive.
Yeah, Andrei said it would be impressive. Like it were more than last time. It is it's more than it was last time.
So we are like making some progress. This is something that we can be happy about.
Yeah, surely. And now I believe we go and talk with our English friends.
Yeah. So for this actual stream, that's it. Yeah. So thanks to everyone who was watching with us. I
Oh,
hope someday my English will be as good as this tournament is.
but I thought we would speak with them on stream. No?
On this stream? Well,
Yeah,
we can
I'm not
do
sure.
it.
I thought that
So
Andre wanted so, but we can
let's
end it.
find it out.
Let's find out. You mean what?
I'll write them on Skype and ask.
Okay.
By the way, what university are they from?
I really don't know. I know like the list.
Oh, he's calling me. Hi guys. You had fun? We were watching the top games, and we had a lot of fun. We watched the games with Berserk. You see that in the random tournaments, we always have two strategies. Someone is playing for the streak, and someone is playing for the trying to play as many games as possible. And it's always interesting, like who will win this race.
Wait, wait. Do you understand that I don't wait? The stream don't hear them.
You play it many times out. You try and play accurately. The decision everything. It's fun seeing that. Well, did you catch any of the card games then? The Samsky game.
Yeah, I think we had maybe one game, I think. We were very impressed by the game between like two leaders. There were leaders at this point of time. So the Orda 99 and some other guy, I don't remember.
Yeah. Getting 69 points in total. That's 15 more times.
Yeah, that's nice. I know this guy personally. He is he's obviously from Russia. So and I played a lot of games with him. He's a very strong player, stronger than me actually.
University as well.
He's from Ruden, and I think his real FIDE rating is around maybe 2450, something like this. Oh, really?
Okay, I think better. But yeah, that's you know Andre the United then.
Yeah, I know him. I am suspicious that maybe he is actually the guy who is topping the scoreboard for the MIPT. I'm not sure.
Definitely check out that video if you've watched our stream.
Oh, thank you. I'll also be happy to recommend your stream for people who was watching in our channel.
We'll leave a link.
Quite tired as well talking about, but we had a good time about how the Warwick team did. They really did us proud. Fourth place this time, better than last time. Really impressive for everyone.
Yeah. Maybe if you had some games that you were impressed by, some highlights, we can maybe watch it. If you want.
Recall any match? The only thing that sticks with me is Vinny's unfortunate stalemate. Maybe we'll quickly see that. well, not the finest play, but so we have Vinny here, Vinny Warwick, and he's got a winning position, and he goes for the nice promotion to check, right? Just so maybe get the queen out.
Oh wow. Wow, that's funny. I think yeah. You see, it's always the dangerous moment when you see promote the pawn or when you take the queen. It's always a moment when you are just not maybe too careful, and sometimes yeah, this happens. I had one game when I was moving the pawn and just a4, a5, a6, and on the other side of the board, uh, just my opponent had a pawn that I was blocking, and his king was just like going around like g1, h1 squares, and I was just moving my pawn, and I promoted my pawn, it became queen, and I just saw that time stops, and I was just wondering why did the time stop, and I see that somehow it's a stalemate, so I took some places from the other side of the board. Didn't even think about it while moving the pawn. Yeah, yeah. We were just watching some games where people with who were taking the berserk that was very close to winning, but just 1 or 2 seconds and decide just everything.
For any other notable games match, I remember at 2 point had some really good ones. I can't go against which opponents there. See if I can find them. But he or she plays huge. I think we saw this. Maybe no. I can't remember exactly. I'm sure it will be on the stream. Well, you've got a lot of games to play black. Yeah, he just had a thing. Yeah, he managed to get this unfortunate pawn structure for white and really bully his piece here. Look at this rook here. This poor white rook didn't have much fun.
We may watch it from the start, but just be fast. I'm playing French myself. Maybe I can say something. Yeah, wow, that's a blunder. So all before this, all these moves are like that's how it's usually played. I personally don't like too much the maneuver of the knight e7 to c8 and to b6, but black plays like this every time, even the grandmasters. So
Bit
uh,
it's difficult to see. But,
oh, wow, that's some tactics.
you're expecting the knight to be captured, but he goes for the pawn, and then we actually went for the knight here, which kind of looks more natural, right? But you quickly realize that this knight here. Yeah, sack the knight, but get this little advantage here.
Yeah, still victorious position.
Yeah.
Pawn structures to bet, and yeah, knight on e4 is just destroying.
Yeah. Here, 2-1.
Yeah, b4 is just all this structure.
Pretty good game.
You see, that's why if you play strategically strong chess, even if you make some blunders, you still may end up having a position.
gotta catch the game. England's playing in the football tonight. You know, against Ukraine. I don't know if there are any Ukrainian universities or players here tonight. Do you know of any?
I'm not sure as well.
Well, see you again next time.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. I'm very glad to hear that you are having as much fun as I do.
Yeah.
That's quite fun. The stream is ended now, hasn't it?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Be able to see the board and I'm really not sure what's going on, but your the cam.
Oh yeah, I did. Like 1 minute, I didn't get past it, and I was just like disappearing.
But yeah, I'm sure it's not too bad. All right. Any other points you want to talk about? Because I'm really tired of the drink. I forgot to film we'll start.
Oh yes, that's fine. Yeah, I don't want to get hungry again.
Okay, guys. Good luck. See you next time. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Send our thanks to Andre as well. I'll thank him for Discord, but if you know him, then I think it'd be more.
I know him.
Do you?
No, I said I don't.
No?
Okay. I'll see him. I'll just talk to him right now. So.
Get my pronunciation, but spasibo большое.
Oh, that was quite good. Пожалуйста. You can read a lot of interesting books if you learn Russian.
Okay. All right. See you guys then.
See ya.
So now we end the stream, I guess.
Yeah. Thanks to everyone who was watching. Bye. See you next time.
Okay. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for coming.